Welcome, and thanks for watching Her Story. Her Story stands for Heroic, Eloquent, Resilient, and Relentless Women. This is a platform that was created to help empower women in telling their stories while empowering others to share their stories as well. Today I have Miss Demeca Evans with me as a special guest, Miss AKA Miss Vibe High. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me today on my fourth episode of Her Story. I just want to open up and tell us a little bit about who you are and who Miss Vibe High is really quick so the audience will know.
So I do want to say that, first of all, thank you for inviting me on. Please, guys, understand I love her. This is the first interview ever of me giving any parts of my story to anybody.
Oh my goodness.
I spoke once on it, and literally this is the first interview I've ever done. So just know I love you, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So I'm Demeca Evans on all platforms. You can also search Miss Vibe High, which will also come up with any platforms I'm on. I identify myself as a speaker, coach, and mentor, and author of a self-guided book, The Vibe High Guide to Living a Happy and Successful Life. Basically what I do is just speak a word to know yourself, accept yourself, be the best version of yourself, which essentially help shift thoughts associated to life and life situations.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love it. Now, we've known each other for a few years now, and you are a dear friend of mine. And it's ironic how we met and how we've connected over the years. I believe you had just started Vibe High, maybe a year or two when we had met.
It probably was about 2 years in when I met you.
Okay.
I started Vibe High 2020.
Okay, we met right before the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. It was right before the pandemic. It was a women's meeting or brunch or something like that. And we all exchanged numbers. And I want to say about a year later, I kind of followed up with everybody. And ironically, for some reason, God just kept showing me your face. God just, I don't know, you just kept, and I'm like, why am I seeing her like so much? Like just something kept calling me to you. And I reached out to you and we connected, and here we are, I don't know how many years later, 3 years later, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember how many years it is. I remember the first meeting though. Remember I came with a notebook to the bar? I had a notebook to the bar because I was ready for the meeting. And you was like, girl, no, I just want to connect with you. I was always ready though. I'll be always ready. I'm just telling you, I'll just be ready.
Right. And that was an interesting connection because we sat and we hung out, and the more we talked, the more we found out how much we had in common. And it's like, wow, I'm listening to you, and it sounded like you're telling my story, and it was vice versa. Yeah. So since I have you here today, I want to ask you, what does her story mean to you?
So, with me watching it, I think it's awesome to have a platform where her story, so it's like a female can tell their story. So for me, I think I love it because it allows a space for somebody to be vulnerable and feel safe with telling experiences that they had in life, you know? That's hard to do.
It is.
So understand that this was hard for me. I'm not gonna even lie. Like I fumbled in my sleep last night. I meditated. I went through some stuff today. Like I was talking to people. I even got people texting me like, "How's it going?" Because that's a lot for people to tell their story. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I think it's a great space for people to feel. I definitely feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I would say that, yeah.
Okay. So in saying that, in watching her story and the different things that were talked about, could you relate as a woman?
Yeah. I think most women can in some aspect. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's sexual abuse, maybe you haven't as a child experienced that, but we've experienced it as an adult, in adulthood, you know, so different things that you hear people talk about, like some of my stuff may be in childhood, somebody else may have experience in adulthood, you know? So I think that most women can resonate with other women, you know, in some way or another.
Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't know that you hadn't, told your story because, you're vibing high, you're Miss Vibe High, and you do talk a lot. And I know you just recently you have your podcast too. But I guess it is something different to actually come out and say, this is what happened with me. This is what happened to me. These were my experiences that got me here.
Right. Because I've given snippets along the way. I do have a book coming out, why she chose the Vibe High.
Okay, awesome.
So that book is coming out, and before that launches, I will have a full show with my full story.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to just tell it. You know what I mean? It's hard even writing a book. I won't lie, because you got to face things that you don't want to face, you know? So, yeah.
I can 100% understand. And for the same reasons I battled with this. I battled with her story because I didn't want to offend certain people. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I didn't want to incriminate anybody, but these are things I've dealt with and I've held on to for a very, very long time. And then at the end of it, you realize these things, the longer we hold on to them, they control us and they have power over us.
True.
And I no longer want those things to have power over me. I want to be free of that. So at this point in my life, some of those same people, they've passed away. They're in different places in their life. Now they know what happened. They know, they can't deny the truth. But this is something that I have to work through for me. And that's the understanding I came to. And I've had recently, and going through this journey, I've had these conversations with some of the people that caused the trauma. And and they said, you're so brave. You're so brave to talk about that. And some of these conversations, me and this person may have never talked about. We may have never talked about what we went through together or the trauma that they caused me. And now we're finally able to have those conversations. And it's still a process, and they say, I apologize. You shouldn't have gone through that. I shouldn't have done that. But we're at all different understanding and places in our lives,
Right. I actually in my trauma, I don't even, people can apologize to me, but you are who you are. And that doesn't mean a bad thing, because I take ownership of me as well. You know what I mean? Some of the things that I did have control over, that I could have prevented or whatever. We all have our place, and and not knowing yourself and not knowing another person sometimes make bad interactions.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
So
absolutely.
I know me and my ex-husband, we talk a lot about stuff like that. All the stuff, that was my longest interaction with anybody besides my parents, you know what I mean? And my children. So I was married to him for 16 years, and it's just you was who you are, I was who I am, and that just didn't mix well. You know what I mean? And we laugh because it's I try to make you responsible for certain things that you didn't even know who you were. You know what I mean? So I don't know, we can be great friends now, just knowing that we did the best we could. Some people just don't know no better,
Right.
Yeah.
I think often we wind up in situations, in relationships, because of circumstances. And then oftentimes it's circumstances and trauma that keep us together. And we hold on to those different pains. And then sometimes there's manipulation and the abuse and all of that, and then you feel like you can't do any better. And that this is love and this person really loves me, I know in some of my past relationships there was manipulation and there was abuse as well, and I was too young and naive to even know what was going on.
Exactly.
You know,
too vulnerable to know and realize what was really happening, and you just, you know, you get sucked into it.
Yeah.
So I definitely was in a toxic relationship because of that right there, you know. Yeah. And very abusive because I was looking for something else, you know, and indeed I got that. It came with a whole bunch of other stuff though,
Girl.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Girl.
So,
So let's talk about some of those things that you had to overcome and getting to where you are now. You talked about you have a book that you're writing and how hard it has been in writing that book. So what are some of those things that you have had to really overcome to get here today?
well, let's start with childhood trauma because that's a big thing that a lot of us don't deal with. And I'll say more so the generation before me definitely don't, which affects my generation and affects our children.
Right.
So I'm really grateful that I was able to get some help to figure out things that was going on with me that did stem from generational trauma. You know what I mean? And when you hear the stories, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is what y'all was going through. You never got any help from this. And then it trickled on to me. So like my childhood trauma, I feel like my mom needed to have me for various reasons, you know? And I felt that. I experienced that. I experienced having to love somebody, learning how to love somebody even though you don't want to. A lot of things, you know.
So I take it you're the oldest?
I am the oldest.
Okay.
I took on a lot, you know, even at 5.
Ooh.
So at 5, you know, just answering child protection at the door, not knowing where your parent is and things like that. That was my 5-year-old life, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow. And I could imagine experiencing that at 5 years old, those years following in school and trying to be a child. You've been put in a lot of adult situations as a child.
And you know, I talk a lot about that when I'm like, people call you fast. Yeah, I was. I definitely was.
You had to be.
I lived a fast life. But what I would say to people now, because I say this a lot, versus passing judgment on these young girls or talking about them or help them.
Yes.
Because had somebody just tapped into me, for instance, my daughter, I think because of me, she was just born this way, this strong personality, this go-getting way. I seen her when she was 4. I tapped into that. You know what I mean? Because if I had let her just be whatever and talk about, oh, you're a little fast, but she could have been something else, seriously, just by me knowing who she is. So I tamed her.
Right.
To find other parts of her, even though she's going to be her. You know what I mean? But she knows the value of her. So I wish that people just would have tapped into me like that. I really do. Because I just thought I was a fast hussy.
Oh, goodness.
I acted like that. You know what I mean?
You know, we've all been young and teenagers, you know, and I know I've been in some situations and done some things. But looking back and knowing like a story of my mom and different women now, it seems like that promiscuity is a spirit that I see, you know, in a lot of young women, and I don't know if it's more so as that's what is being pushed in society, you know what I'm saying, being promiscuous at a young age and being fast and all of your body hanging out, you know. But when you do those things, there are things that come along with it, you know, and you are put into situations that you shouldn't have been in at an early age.
You know what's funny? I wanted that attention at a young age. I don't know why when I think about it, but I was sexually abused at 5. So I don't know if that made me promiscuous, but I do remember at 8, acting grown in front of boys so they could see me being grown, cleaning and stuff like that. Like, what boy cared about a girl cleaning a house? But that was my thought process. I was fast, you know what I mean?
Do you think it was more so maybe you were acting something you had already seen someone else do? Like, okay, this is what, I don't know, mom and them auntie, this is how they behave, so you were
Trying to be
mimicking
a woman.
them.
Yeah, trying to be a grown woman. I was fast. I was fast, yeah.
I think we, you know, because I've heard that term, you know what I mean, and we use it often in our communities. But looking back, like I said on one of my previous episodes, I realized I was training my daughter. And so that my actions, I was setting the example, you know. And I remember seeing my mother do things, and deep down within me, some of those things was like, okay, you know this ain't right. Or, you know, or they told you in school you ain't supposed to litter, or whatever the case may be, you know, but something deep inside me knew that it wasn't right. And I remember I used to argue with my mom. I stayed in trouble because I stayed in trouble.
Trying to be politically correct.
Well, politically correct, but then I guess in my mind, I was grown too. You know what I mean? So I said what was on my mind. I've always been very verbal and open, and I stayed getting my behind whipped behind it. You know, I'd be like, Mama, why did it? Oop, you in trouble.
Yeah, I ain't do that.
I did a lot. I did. And I took that whip and it was like, but I know now that I couldn't change who I was. That was just who I was and my personality. And they tried to discipline it out of me and whatever the case. And then somewhere, probably in my 30s, I realized that this is who I am. This is who I am. I took a job in Houston, and I remember they used to tell me, they was like, why are you so loud? And I had no idea I was loud. I was like, well, I guess I'm just country. This is what we sound like. This is how we talk. It was like, everything you say, you yelling, you loud. I don't know. Y'all heard me?
Well, I'm not from the country. I yell a lot. Okay. I do. I'll be sitting on the radio like, girl, why every time somebody asks you something, you screaming the answer? But that's all about accepting who you are. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just accept who I am.
Absolutely. What was that turning point for you? You know, I understand you went through the trauma in your childhood, but what was that turning point for you in your life to where now I'm going to vibe high, now I'm going to do something different and live a different life?
I lost everything. Yeah. My mom wasn't speaking to me. My family was not speaking to me. My ex left me, took all the furniture out the house. One of my children was living with their dad. The other one moved out, wasn't talking to me. I had one kid at home. My job, and I had went out because was leaving. And then I took a leave of absence. And right when my ex was moving out, the job said, yeah, we're going to put your case under review. So I wasn't getting any more checks for 2 months.
Oh my God.
I had a red truck with 3 doors and a rope holding the 4th door. But I remember calling my mom. She wasn't talking to me, but you know she gonna answer. And the only thing I remember her saying is, you got this. And I did not know what that meant. I swear to goodness, I did not know what that meant, but apparently I had this. So I remember just like going through my house. I was still in religion at this time, and I just was praying through the house, and I was crying. Snot was coming out my nose. I was on my knees, and I had decided that I just wanted to live a different life. And it took me like 2 weeks to get myself together. I was going through some things, spiritually, emotionally, trying to figure out who I was again. I had completely lost myself. You know, I was like somebody's wife. I was somebody's oldest child. I was somebody's oldest sibling. I was the favorite friend to somebody's favorite cousin, and mom, and all of that. You know what I mean? And it was like, who was I?
Right.
So I really own Demeca N. Evans. Like, people make me stuff that say D. N. Evans because they know how much my name means to me, because I'm like, this is who Darlene gave birth to. You know what I mean? So that's who I am. I don't do the titles anymore because those titles take you away from yourself.
Right.
And I needed to find out who I was deep down inside. And that goes way back to when I was a kid. Those things that I wanted to be that I didn't know how to be because they told me I had to be this or that, and I had to do this and I had to do that. So I started finding myself, and Vibe High came from me doing research on me and who I was. And to be honest, finding out that I was vibrations of energy. If I could be honest with you, you know, people don't know that. They think it's about this motivational, oh, you can do it thing. You can, but it was because I know who I am. I know my connection to this universe, you know what I mean? And I know that I'm a vibrational energy. So that's why I vibe high, because I try to keep my vibrations high now. I was in deep depression. I counted on everybody to make me happy. I needed love from other people to even know what love was and which wasn't love, you know. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't even know who I was. So I spent some time alone getting to know who I was and my connection to this universe.
Right.
My powers, my ability, you know. That's how I vibe high, because I know my connection to this universe. I know that I have the same strength that whatever this higher power is, I'm a deposit of that. So if I'm a deposit of that, I have the same powers that whatever this source has.
Absolutely.
Maybe I don't know how to tap into it to that magnitude, but as much as I can, I'm going to reach to the sky. So when I say sky is the limit, I mean that. Like, I'm going to go as far as I can until my eyes close forever.
Girl, I love it. Yeah. I love it. You got me hyped just listening to you. Look, I'm like, yeah.
But that's what it is for me, though. And I live by that in real life.
You do.
And people who meet me, they're like, wow, it's so funny that you really are what you say. What I see all on your social media is who you are in real life. If I didn't know you, like, this is what I would say about you. You know what I mean? Because that's how I live now.
Right. Oh, my God. That is powerful. That is very powerful to come to that understanding, those revelations about you. And we often do lose ourselves.
Yes.
We often do lose ourselves in relationships and in other people. Some of us lose ourselves in substances and habits. And then we have to find our way back. You know, I can say recently, I've gone through the same thing, you know, lost myself over the years, and more recently I'm tapping into, oh, hey, you used to do this. Remember when you used to write? Remember you used to sing all the time? Remember you were this person, what happened to her?
You know what it is, though, Rochelle? For me, my best friend left at age 41 abruptly. She wasn't sick or anything. That's how I live life. This could be the last day of my life. I'm not giving that to nobody. I'm just not.
Right.
I'm so courageously, like, unapologetically gonna be happy. You know how much I love my mother. Nobody can stop this happiness of mine. Nobody can stop this. I had to really create boundaries and protect myself so I can, because this is my life.
Right.
And my mom understands that. She has her life. Everybody got their own life. Everybody chooses their journey and how they want to live it. And as hard as it was to even let my mother do her thing, that was hard because I knew where it was going. But I love her anyways, you understand?
Right.
But I had to understand that I have my own journey. And that's outside of my children, everybody. My kids have their own journey. We're not attached that we're about to walk through every step of life together. That's not what's about to happen. They might move over here. Somebody might move over there. Somebody might move to another country.
You're right.
We all have our own journey. So I had to learn that. That was hard because the mom that I have, we have attachment issues.
Okay.
So I had to learn how to detach from my children, my parents, and go on this journey that I'm on. That's hard, but you have to. You know what I mean? I had to. I love everybody, and they know that. I'm there at a call, but this is a personal journey, just like I want everybody to be on their own personal journey. And just like I had to accept that my mother had her own personal journey. Even though I wanted her journey to be what I wanted it to be because it fit for my life, it wasn't fitting for her life.
Right.
And that's just what it is, you know.
Since you came to those understandings that, hey, I have to do this for me, what has been like the hardest part in that? Like
Sticking to your boundaries?
sticking to your boundaries?
Yeah.
I would imagine that along the way you probably lost some people. I mean,
Girl, yes.
you know, because I feel like when we start moving in our purpose to where we're supposed to be, often the people who start with us aren't the people who finish with us.
I was calling people yesterday. I was like, I'm lonely. You need to talk to somebody. Because I could call like 3 or 4 people. I had to go back. Nobody answered the phone, so I had to go back to the first person again. Because it's only like 3 or 4 of them. But that's my life. I'm okay with it. It's peaceful. I cannot have bad vibrations in my life. I don't care who you are. I swear. I don't care who you are. If I gotta have a bad conversation about you, or if I have a bad thought, that's taking me away from my stuff.
Yeah.
And y'all know how I feel about my stuff. Like, I protect my stuff. I protect my stuff because I work hard, you know, for everything that I'm doing. This is a hard journey to stay conscious on being positive and making sure that's hard.
It is. It does take a lot of work.
Yes,
and it takes commitment.
I get frustrated. Like last night, I was like, I don't want to. I did. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to be positive right now.
Okay.
This is how I feel. And I said it. You know what I mean? I have those moments because that's a lot to like every day consciously trying to just do because I have a purpose though. And I know the formula to it. And I got to follow that formula, you know, but it's hard. You know?
It is. I understand you, I think you say you kind of stepped away from Christianity, but like the Bible talks about, we live in this flesh, you know, and it talks about picking up your cross daily, you know, and this is in parable, this is a walk we have to walk daily. You know, and whether the inference is a cross or your burdens or whatever it is that we carry that every single day. And we, you know, and how we handle that and deal with that is where the greater result outcome is, you know what I mean? So we can take these situations and we can sit here and have a pity party about it. We can cry about it and we can blame everybody but ourselves. And we can say, well, if you would have did this and if you would have did that, or we can take those lemons and you know what, baby, I'm about to make you a lemon meringue pie. You ain't even gonna know what I went through.
You gotta own your stuff. And I think that's how I was able to elevate. I own my part in my life. Yes, other people played a role. We're not about to act like other people didn't play a part, right? But I played a part in my life too. So I own that. That was how I was able to move forward. You really got to own your stuff.
You do. You really do.
Because if you blame everything in life on another entity, another person, situation, you going to stay right there. You will stay there because the same thing is going to keep happening. Because you haven't owned it. You can't get past things that you don't own. You just can't.
You're right.
You just can't, you know, so yeah.
You're absolutely
I try to own my stuff. You know, I always try to face myself. Anything that I go through. I'm like, okay, well, so what could I have done? If it ain't nothing I could have did differently, no, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I try to look and say, okay, well, you know, could I do this? What could I have done differently? Or, you know, I try to look at me, yeah.
I do that too. You self-evaluate. I'm constantly self-evaluating and what could I have done differently and how could this have been better and what if I change my perspective on how I'm looking at this? Because a lot of it is your perception in whatever the situation is, how you perceive it. So we just said a lot. You just talked about a lot. What is it that Demeca has going on right now? Tell me about Miss Vibe High, this new, after all the trauma, after working on yourself, where are you now?
I'm living in my purpose. It's not like a magical thing that happened. I knew this when I was a kid. I was 14 when I decided this life. Okay. Yeah, I was 14. I just didn't know how to have this life. And then life started lifing. And I was doing the lifing and all that. And I'm very grateful for my journey in life because the experiences that I have, I overcame a lot of things and I'm able to tell my story now. You know what I mean? I'm able to help people who went through this. And I love that because there's so many people who don't think that they can make it past certain things. And you really can. It's your choice.
Right.
And a lot of people don't like me saying that. They hate it. It's your choice. What you mean? This happened, that happened, this happened. And then when I started telling them my story, like, oh, yeah, that happened to me too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I chose to live a happy and successful life. And that's just really what it is. So what is going on for me right now? I'm living a happy and successful life. Lives. But overall, I live a happy and successful life. I'm elevating and vibe high, meaning that my goal is to ultimately touch the nation.
Okay.
You know, with this message of knowing yourself, accepting yourself, and being the best version of yourself. So I'm doing everything I can to touch every avenue I can with that. I'm spreading that with my message through coaching, speaking to people, podcasting, the book, and my merch, Vibe High Gear. You know what I mean? So literally, that's what I'm doing right now in my life. I'm vibing high. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I am not perfect. I did not figure it all out.
Right, right.
By no means, I'm still growing. But I love that about me. That's what life is about. My mother told me, my mom is 65. And she'd be like, girl, I'm still trying to figure it out. That lets me know that, okay, she's 20 years over me. She's still figuring out. I ain't got it.
Right.
And I don't got to be stressing about trying to get it.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just going to keep going with the flow of life. And embracing it, because that's what it's all about. You got to embrace all the moments in your life. You can't elevate without embracing these moments. For a long time, I fought it. And I was mad, and I didn't understand why me, and, you know, all the stuff that we all go through.
Yeah, we do.
But I'm grateful it was me now. I'm so grateful that it was me because I get to be this now. And I don't know if I could have been this without that story, without that past, without that journey that I had to go on. So I just think I was just like a tool that was used to help the earth. Seriously.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. A tool used to help the earth, to help better everybody else.
I overcame stuff. I'm still overcoming stuff. Stuff still happens. I'm not like, oh, I'm the master. No, girl, please. Everybody know I have a support system. Please understand that. They call me all the time. Is a thing, okay? But I feel like I overcome it though.
Absolutely.
So anything that I overcome, I can help somebody else with. That's just how I look at it. Yeah.
Gotcha. With the public, and I appreciate you doing that. And her story, heroic is the H in her story, and it takes a heroism to do that. It takes a lot to stand up and really say, hey, this is what happened to me. This is what hurt me. This is how I got over it, what I did, and where I'm at today.
And that is what's going in this book. A lot of people have been asking my story, and a lot of people have been wanting to know. No, I didn't wake up one day and just start vibing high. That's not what happened. There's a story behind it. Everybody got a story, you know? I try to come out and be vibing high without having to tell my story, but people want to know. And I understand that, you know what I mean? Because they want to feel and know, like, why? You know, where did this go? Like, what made you say that this is what you want? This is not how you was born. No, I get it. And I owe that to my audience and the people who follow me, to be authentic with them, you know what I mean? And not just come out with this content with no back story to it.
Right,
so,
right.
It is hard, guys, to write this book, though, so I'm just letting y'all know.
Listen, take your time and make it your own. You know, we're artists. This is a form of art. You writing your book, the podcast, Vibe High, all the different things you do is a form of expression. It's art. So you perfect that baby and make it what you want it to be. You know?
I am taking my time with it. I cannot rush and put this together because it's my story and I gotta make sure it come out right. To be honest, I think I wrote this book about 5 times.
Over.
Because I keep erasing it and like, no, I can't say that. No, I can't do that. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, forget it. And I'm like, no, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I've been fighting with. So I've been writing this book for like 2 years.
Oh, goodness.
But now I'm just consistently just writing and just putting it out. Just like writing what I feel. And I'm not rereading it. You know what I mean? I'm just writing.
Right.
And then I'm just going to go ahead and put it all together. Like when I get done just saying all the stuff.
Okay.
And I'm doing it in the speaking form now. So I'm speaking to the laptop so I can write it.
Sweet.
Versus typing.
Guru.
That kind of helps also. Because you really can get a lot out by doing that. So, I don't know, y'all. This is different. I am not gonna lie. This is very, very different than writing the Vibe High Guide to living a happy life. Because it was a self-guided book. And I'm just telling you, okay, well, if you do this is gonna happen here, you know? And now I gotta just like tap inside of my feelings. So like writing a book, I did a lot of crying. Because I had to revisit some things, you know. I don't know. I just hope it's a good read for everybody. So I do thank you, though, for this is literally the first interview I've had in my life.
What?
On this.
Are you serious?
Seriously.
Oh, my God. You interview people and you hold events and you've done a lot. You do a whole lot of things, and you haven't been.
I spoke to that's how me and Abby became friends.
Okay.
My first time speaking this was, and I only spoke it that one time.
Oh my God.
Anything else was a Vibe High message. At she had a self-love event.
Okay.
And it was about domestic violence and stuff. So. I spoke a lot, and I did. I cried. You know, I was so scared. Oh my God, I will never forget. I was so scared. And one of my family members came with me because I was like, you know my real story. I need somebody here with me. You know, I was shivering. No, it's scary.
It is
because you got people involved in your story that you don't want to. It's not to hurt them or anything like that, but it's your story.
It is.
And I did learn through treatment for anybody who is struggling with that, because you got to face your past to get to the other side. And you got to get over that. And sometimes you need help. And don't be scared of treatment. I went through treatment to help me. And I fought them.
Right.
Girl, I fought them people.
You fought the people at treatment?
Not physically.
Okay.
But I fought them because, like, you know what I'm talking about, my mother and my stuff and what? You know, that's how it was. And they used to be like, no, because Demeca, you know. Yeah, girl, because. And I had to, one day I heard her. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And you find out things, you know what I mean? So, like, the treatment really helped me.
Right. The therapy.
Yeah. It helped me get past that and understand some things, you know?
That's good. I believe therapy is healthy. I think it's very healthy, and I think more of us actually need to tap into some form of therapy because we all have pains and trauma and things that we're working on healing from, and we're all creatures of habit. So in saying that, often these things, they creep back up. We don't always know how to close these doors and close these chapters, and like you just said, until we deal with it, it's going to continue to
so you got to do
face
something.
us.
It don't have to be therapy, I won't say. Sometimes you got to do mentoring, coaching, or something else, because in treatment, they was like, well, Demeca, why you coming here? I really did it myself. Vibe High got me through it, and they know that. But it was a good check-in for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I did learn some coping skills with some other things that I was dealing with in my life. But I do understand people's, I don't want to go to counseling. I do understand that. I do. I can say that. You know what I mean? I've had counselors kick me out, told me they don't want to work with me no more.
Oh, goodness.
You know, because I stand on what I know. You know, I'm going to always stand on Vibe High, and sometimes I feel like treatment limits you and tell you, because of this is where you stop in life. They told me to be a medical biller, because of all my diagnosis.
Oh.
So yeah, we ain't talking about the mental illness that I deal with. I definitely fight mental illness. I don't fight it. I deal with mental illness, you know, but I deal with it. That's the thing. You have to deal with it. You need to know yourself. I can't deny who I am,
Right.
and what I deal with. I will never do that, you know, because I can't. You cannot get to the next level saying, "Oh no, I don't do." No, I do. I deal with depression. I deal with anxiety. Have some OCD, I got some PTSD, I got some stuff, you know what I mean? That's what the people said, and I do, you know what I mean? But I will say that I know that I can still live a happy and successful life.
Absolutely.
I don't have to be a medical biller. I mean, I'm living evidence and proof that you don't have to be a medical biller because you dealing with mental illness. And I'm going to always say it because that's what she told me. Demeca, why don't you do medical billing and just sit at home and, you know, take the pills and stuff?
Oh, I cannot stand when people inflect what they see, try to inject their vision and what their perception of what they see on somebody else. Now, let's just say if you'd have taken that to heart. If you'd have taken that to heart, okay, let me sit at home and take these pills and be a medical bill or medical code or whatever it is, where would you be? You know, that was not part of your destiny.
My contribution to society be.
Right. You wouldn't really be contributing to society.
Service to society, like that's what we all here to do. We all here to help life be better. Like I'm supposed to just sit there, that's wasting life.
Right.
So I'm not an advocate. That's why my target is always people dealing with mental illness, because I need people to understand that no matter what people say, what you think your story is, you can literally do whatever you want to do in the world.
You can.
Do that. Don't ever let somebody limit you. My one counselor, I'm not with her to this day, and I love her to pieces. She knows who she is if she ever watches this. I love her to pieces. She told me, you can't write a book. How are you going to write a book?
What?
How are you going to tell people this and that? It worked though.
Right.
I've had people from 12, my age, older, call me, tears. Oh my God, your book did this for me. Your book did that for me. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Girl, I'm one of them. Please don't tell me what I can't do.
Please don't. Girl, my book
don't.
came out less than a month later when she told me that.
Yeah.
She told me that like March 23rd. My book launched on April 9th.
All right.
Of 2022. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that argument, and I haven't been in treatment since then because I was told then I couldn't write a book. This is the same person that told me to do medical billing.
Right. Now, this is someone you went to help you, right? And just those two statements alone could have sent you so far back. That could have changed the whole dynamic of your future, of your life. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. And people do that. Yes. People do that. And that's why I say, whatever your vision is, whatever that dream that God has put in you and showed you, you follow that.
That's why it's so important to know yourself and accept yourself.
Right.
Because when you do that, nobody can validate who you are. Nobody can tell me who I know who I am. I know my abilities. You can't stop that. But some time ago, you could have. I would have believed her. I'd have been like, oh, medical billing sounds good.
Right.
And then you'll give me a supplemental check for the difference that I should be making.
Right.
And I get these good pills that make me feel happy. And I can watch TV. Girl, that's the life.
And you know what? See how you just said that? People address some stuff up to you and make it sound good and look good.
Well, that's good to somebody. Somebody actually
to somebody
lives that
else.
life.
Right, to somebody else.
That
but
ain't my life.
You knew that wasn't you.
No, that's not my story, sis. Like, no. And I was like, no. And because of that, they didn't think I was a good fit for treatment anymore.
Wow.
So I'm okay with it. I outgrew it. It was a time that I really needed treatment, though. It was a time that I did not know myself. It was a time that I had no self-control over my emotions, my thoughts, or anything, and I needed treatment. So I'm not against it. That's what I'm saying. But just always know yourself. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. I went to treatment, and I did as much as they could do for me. And they started saying, like I said, Demeca, why are you still here? And I was like, I'm just checking in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because of my attachment issues and other things that I deal with in my mental illness, it was hard for me to let go of that, but I had surpassed it. Once I created Vibe High, I did my own research to figure, that's my, they have their research. They go by this book and they say, okay, well, this is what works. And I'm not saying that it don't work. I just have my own way.
Right,
now.
right.
I've created a new way of it working.
And it works for you.
Yes, and a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
It definitely does.
In you saying that, knowing yourself, that's important. And I've been saying that for a very long time, that knowing yourself, who you are, where you've been, and where you're going, right? And it's easier said than done, knowing yourself, right? So you're Miss Vibe High, and you talk about, in Vibe High, you talk about knowing yourself and being the best version of yourself. So how would you say I get to know me?
So, girl, it took a lot. It took yellow sticky notes for me to find out who I was, okay?
Reminders?
Yeah, I had to speak to who I was, because before that, I was what the people said I was. I wasn't shit. Excuse my language.
Right.
I was this dark girl. I had these 3 kids. Wasn't nobody gonna ever want me. I couldn't be nothing by myself. I was all the stuff that the people told me I was. I believed it. I really did. You know what I mean? So I created this person that you see. This is me. This is all me. I wrote notes, and it started from me having to believe that I was beautiful again, that I was amazing, that I was smart. All the things that was stripped from me that I believed that other people told me, I replaced it with what I believed about me and what I thought should be me. So I just built myself, and then I had to accept that, right? But that's the good stuff. I had to accept the ugly stuff too. I had to accept that I went through this relationship, and I remember looking in the mirror saying, you let this person, you let them drag you right through the mud, didn't you? And you went back for some more, because you wanted more of it, apparently, right? I had to talk to myself like that. I had to accept that, because now you can't come back to me and say, I did, girl. Yes, I did. I chased that girl.
I did that, and I overcame. I'm delivered now.
When I tell my story, and even I tell my children, I was like, I was addicted to that person right there. That was my drug. I could tell my kids that, but I'm okay with being authentic with my kids like that, because they're gonna face that.
Right.
You're gonna love somebody. You're gonna love something in life, and you're gonna feel addicted to it. And I need you to understand how to get past that. Mommy got past that. You know what I mean? So I don't lie to my kids about stuff. But anyways, I had to accept those things about myself. So the flaws and all, I always say that I had to accept flaws and all. And then I decided to be the best version of myself. So some of the things I accepted was how emotional I was, my temperament. But accepting that means I know how to control it now. So knowing that I have this temperament, I can't deny that. It's there. I don't care how much I vibe high. As soon as something happens, something that ain't, you know what I mean? I ain't about to lie to nobody.
Right.
So what do? I make sure I protect myself. I don't put myself in that position. I don't have those kind of conversations. I don't communicate. I'm not friends with those type of people.
Right.
Because I know me, and I accept me, that's a part of me, but I am going to be the best version of me. So that's what that's like for me.
That's awesome. And it does change your life. Once you come to know who you are, and accept who you are, for starters, it elevates you, it puts you on another level, because now you see from another perspective, and it's like, okay, I can be anybody. Where do I go from here? And you do take control of your actions, of the things you've done, of those situations, so that you can move forward.
And how I'm gonna be. I take control of that. I can't blame things. Well, this happened, so I'm having a bad day.
We don't get to have those excuses.
I mean, you can do it, it's valid.
Right.
Certain things that I'm experiencing in my life right now is valid for me to have a bad day. I don't want to though. I just don't want to. I choose to be happy as much as I can, because it's times in your life that you can't control.
Right.
Things, you know what I mean? It's gonna be some life and that I cannot control. So I control as much as I can, and I know I want to be happy and live and smile and be joyful every day. So as much as I can control that, that's what I do.
Yeah, that is very important. I say when you know that a snake is a snake, that's on you if you keep messing with that snake, because it's still a snake when it sheds its skin, you know. And at the end of the day, it starts with a decision. We have to decide: are we going to keep going down this road? Are we going to keep going to the chaos? Are we going to move in a different direction? Am I going to separate myself from these people who keep causing me to behave like this and do these things? Oh, accountability,
Because
yes.
You see how you saying all that? Somebody know that, but they still keep themselves in that situation and let the consequence happen and blame the situation.
Yeah.
No, you got to take ownership of that. You know all of that. You know what I mean? And that's literally knowing yourself and accepting yourself. And then what are you going to choose then?
Right.
You know what I mean? I choose to be the best version of myself, so some things is just not going to fit in my alignment. It's just not. I don't really care, though. You know what I mean? I think I know now the formula, and I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong. I'm still growing, girl. I still play with some stuff that I ain't got no business playing with.
It's a process.
Yes,
it's a process.
I do. And I'll be like, well, let me just see. You know what I mean? What's going to happen if I play over there?
We do that. We do that.
But, but I own it. I'm like, girl, you know. You know. You know what I mean? That's like some stuff your mother told you. And you know your mother is right.
Right.
But we scratch our itch.
And you be like,
she told me. You know what I mean? That's just life.
No, first we be like, she don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah,
I know better, right? I know better. Let me go find out.
But yeah, girl, so that's just how life is for me. Sometimes I scratch the itch.
Look, I think we can all say we've been guilty of that at one time or another. You know, that's just, we're curious people, you know. Demeca, I want to thank you again for being a guest tonight. And in closing, if there was a message that you would pass on to other women about your journey and the things you've overcome, what would you say?
Have the strength to be the best version of you. And I mean that by it be things in our life that we don't think we have the strength to surpass, but you do. You know what I mean? The next page is so much better than the page that you're on. It's just like life to me is like a good book. Turn the page. It's so scary to turn a page because you don't know. But just think about that good book. It was always juicy on the next page. You know what I mean? So I look at life like that now. I try to embrace every moment of life and not go through the flow of it. You really got to go through the flow of life no matter how uncomfortable it is. And I mean this to every human. Right. You know what I mean? Like you really got to go through the flow of life no matter how uncomfortable it is. But stand on, the inside of you.
Right.
Because this could be your last day. And that's how I look at life. Like, if this was my last day, would I be happy with what happened? Would I be happy with the story of today?
Right.
I need to be satisfied with my story of today if this was my last breath that I was to take. I don't want to submit to nobody else. I want to live in nobody else's story. I don't want to be doing what somebody else needs me to do because that fits their story and it makes their story happy. I need my story to be happy. And if that means I'm just going to be in it by myself, that's just what I need. You know what I mean? But everybody should want to be happy.
They should.
For themselves in their life. Period. You know what I mean? And whatever that means. And no matter how uncomfortable it may be to get to that, you got to get to that place. Because that's what life is all about. And even in religion, God is kind, God is love, God is all that good stuff. So that's what we are supposed to be of, you know what I mean? And those are the vibrations that you want to get involved. So I think that everybody should protect themselves, protect your stuff, protect your peace, because this is your journey and you want to live happy and you want to elevate. You got to do that selfishly and unapologetically, you know what I mean? Courageously.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
I agree.
That's what I would give to any woman. It's hard. I did a 16-year marriage. Who can leave that? It was hard. That was my stability. That was my security. That was my other half of me. That was my other brain.
Right.
Everything. You know what I mean? But what I found out about who I am by myself, I am great. We are great. We are great. You know what I mean? So I tell a lot of women this because I come across a lot of women, and I'm saying this generally, okay, because there's a lot of people in my life, and I'm not a person to say, leave your situation or anything like that. But just know your worth. For real. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, just know your worth. Like, who you are as an individual. You don't need to submit to other energies to be that individual. You just really don't. You know what I mean? And I said it to a lot of women because I know that it's hard. You know, like I said, I did a 16-year bid. I ain't gonna call it a bid, but what's the 16?
That was your bid, girl. That was your bid.
I did a 16-year bid, and that was tough for me to get out of. My grandmother told me, "Don't, girl, you better not." My grandmother told me, "Don't do that." And I will say, yes, I am still single because of my standards and everything like that. But I'm cold-blooded by myself, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. Right. And that is a pat on my shoulder, and that is tooting my own horn because a man didn't think I could do this by myself. I was told that I just knew you would come back to me because I never thought that you can do this by yourself. And I just look at everything that I'm doing by myself. The strength of one person is crazy.
Right.
And I'm going to leave it like this. I was talking to my grandson. He about to be 3.
You was talking to the grandbaby, the 3-year-old?
Girl, he about to be 3.
Okay.
I was like, you just so full of energy. And he was like, I know, I'm powerful. I was like, you know that? And we don't know how strong we are. This baby knows that. You know, I was looking at him, and I know to some people that's a lot, though, to know that. You know what I mean? We got to know. A 3-year-old knows this. We got to know that as individuals. So I know that's deep, but that's just my little message for women because that's just my passion. You know, I be talking to women so much, and I be like, do you hear me? Do you hear me? Like, you can do this, baby. You can do this. So that's my message to the women. Like, just know your worth. Know who you are individually, for real.
Would that be the same message that you would have to your younger self?
Girl, yes. To my younger self, I would have really said, yes. I didn't know. You know, I was a person like my ex. I remember telling my ex-mom, well, who's going to love me then if I leave him?
I remember feeling like that. I remember that feeling like that.
How did I think that? Are you serious? Who is my children, my mother, me? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that love was going to exist outside of this relationship. That's crazy. So yes, I would tell myself, my younger self, no, girl, I'm cold-blooded. I'm trying to tell you this. Like, but I didn't know that.
Right.
I did not know that. I'm talking about inside out. I am a great woman.
Right, you are.
I bring a lot to the table. I'm a very smart, intelligent woman. I know how to get through life. I know how to be I have a big package with me. I didn't know that. I spent my life trying to show people that.
So imagine, let's just imagine that it took all of that for you to truly see who and how powerful you are to be here right now.
It took me to be alone, though.
It took you to be alone?
Seriously, because if I had still been with somebody, I'd have been still doing that. I was a person I needed validation from the person to know who I was. So me being alone, I had to face me. I had to tell me who I was. It was nobody there. I had no choice. You know what I mean? That's how I found out who I was. I see. I'm like, wait a minute. Girl, you was cold-blooded. You know what I mean? And for real, I look in the mirror in the morning when I wake up, I do. I'll be like, girl, you... And I say this. I know it's a joke to people, but I say these words. I'll be like, girl, you was cold-blooded. And I do. I'll be like, inside out, though. I have to... Because it's inside out. It's not that, oh, I look cute. No, inside out, I am cold.
Right.
I does this thing called life, and I'm doing it by myself. So that's why I pat myself on the shoulder, because I do think I'm cold-blooded. I do. I'm like, girl, you be doing this. Like, you get up, you do this, you do that. No, people didn't think that about me.
No, you do. You do.
For real.
You do a whole lot. We be talking and my head be spinning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired of listening to you. Shit, I'm taking my shoes off.
And I literally be crying sometimes. Girl, I be in the car. I be like, I'm just grateful for me, knowing me, and falling in love with me, and knowing my worth. Because I get to live this great life, and I don't have to have nobody validating, telling me you're doing a good job.
Right.
You're doing that. Yes, that's what I was waiting for in my life. I was waiting for that. Tell me, do you see me? I'm trying to be your woman. I'm being a great. Do you see me? I needed that. You know what I mean? Just to feel like somebody. But now I'm me. I built this person. So now I know, like, when I do join in, when I decide to, I don't need you to fill me up. I'm filled up.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and do this thing and have a great life. You know what I mean? And hopefully, well, yeah, that's what it's going to be. Who I'm going to be, we're going to be filled up. You know what I mean? You ain't going to need me to fill you up, and I don't need you to fill me up. I'm filled up. You know what I mean? But I do want to join and make greatness with somebody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I used to need that, girl. I was needy as ever. Okay?
Look, I'm so glad you overcame that so that you can be this superwoman that you are today.
I ain't no superwoman.
No. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yet.
See, part of the issue was you had to reprogram your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to reprogram. I'm reprogramming. We're in a constant state of reprogramming our mind from what everybody else told us.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that be somebody in our family, our parents, our cousin, the television, somebody at school, those are the things that we've held on to and the programming that we have. So these are the things that we have to undo and unwind to tell ourselves, hey, no, you're not that ugly little girl. You're not that little whatever. You're not that little fat whatever.
Right.
This is who I am.
Right.
And then walking inside of that.
Yeah, I do. I guess so. I'm just like, when people say superwoman, I'm like, no, I got so much growing in my life to do, for real. You know that. You my
We
friend,
all
like,
got growing
you know
to
what I
do.
mean? So I think that I'm doing great, elevating in life, but I don't know, not superwoman yet. I'm trying to be.
Girl, look, I look at you and you might as well put on a cape. We're gonna get a cape with
I'm crazy as hell.
all that come along with it. I think all that comes along with it. Well, Demeca, I really enjoyed you today. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. This
with
was
me.
a good breakthrough to some things. You know what I mean? I feel a little bit. So thank you.
You're welcome.
This was so unexpected. And you was like, yeah, we're going to do this in 2 days.
But Demeca, we talked about this long ago. We did. We didn't just literally talk about it 2 days.
It's not working.
I know. And like I said before, I go through that almost every time I get ready to record. Even when I was just at a seminar this past weekend, and I was like the same way, like, you're not ready, what about this? And we want to study and prepare for the test and all that. Ain't nothing to study, you already know. You already know. So that's why I knew we could do this in 2 days. I've enjoyed you. Thank you so much. Where can the viewers find you at?
All platforms, Demeca, Demeca N Evans, or Miss Vibe High. You can search me on Miss Vibe High on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook, and anything else is Demeca N Evans, Vibe High Gear. Yeah, just put any of those in, whatever you choose. Follow me. I'm there.
And so what do you have upcoming? Yes.
Yes. So I do have my new book coming, launching soon. I'm not going to give a date yet.
Okay, soon. It's coming soon.
So this is the story of why she chose to Vibe High. I also have my mentoring and coaching program, Transition in 10, which is a 10-week mentoring program, just helping you with your thoughts associated to life and life situations, and helping you to live a happy and successful life. So connect with me on those platforms. You can definitely send an email to Demeca, Demeca.N.Evans, EVANS @gmail.com. for any consultations, any information on the book, or anything that I can do for you, I'm definitely on that vibe to helping everybody elevate in their life.
Sweet, sweet, awesome. And you have your podcast is coming soon too.
I do have season 4 of the Vibe High Experience. I got a lot going on. I got season 4 of the Vibe High Experience definitely launching next month at 716 Live. So definitely link up and follow me on that. That season 4 is going to be real good and juicy. I'm digging into Vibe High and just really talking about what it is. Got some nice guests lined up, so I am excited about season 4. And on top of that, I also do sales and marketing for 716 Live.
Sweet.
So anybody who's interested in doing their own podcast, radio show, please hit me up. Advertisement, Demeca at 716live.com.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. You
It's
have
a lot.
fun.
I know, girl.
It is.
Perseverance. That's what y'all heard this story, and this is what I'm doing right. That's perseverance. That's literally the definition of perseverance.
Listen. I love it. I'm so proud of you. It has been amazing standing on the sidelines and watching you and cheering you on and all the great things you have going on. And you know I'm all about the sisterhood and loving. You know I'm gonna love you through it and support you all the way through it, and we're gonna do this thing together. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to see everything you have coming out. And guys, if you haven't, make sure that you subscribe to Her Story. Make sure you follow, and we'll see you back in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining.
Bye.